Welcome back to the road trip, Kingdom Builders, Road Trippers, Akeem and Akatim, brothers and sisters, mothers, fathers, aunties, and uncles, grandmas, and grandpas, everybody in the house, shalom. Welcome back, shalom, peace and blessings. That's right, man. Your homes, your dwelling places, your children, loved ones, friends, and your pets, little fur babies. All praises to the Most High, right? Now, right, man. All praises to the Most High. Abba na Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Glory to Yahweh Shai. Honors to the Ruach HaKodesh. Wisdom, my love, and my respect goes out to you. Thanks for being here with me, road trippers. Appreciate it. So, check this out. Guess what? We finished up the Apocrypha. Yes, the whole Apocrypha. We read the whole Apocrypha. All right, from Tobit all the way to Jasher. All right, got them all done. Right, and in there, we read the book of Esther, right? So check this out. There's actually some more additions to the book of Esther that were not included in the original canon, but they are still part of the scrolls, translated from the Greek Septuagint. All right, so we're going to start reading that, and that's going to be our next dive in now. And then from there, I think we're going to finish up, I think, what was it, Psalms 151? Because I think there's only 150 in the KJV. They missed one at the end. And then there's, I think, 4 more books of Daniel that were not included in the KJV that we're going to read as well. And we're going to do all of that with the Septuagint. And I think there's a couple more other things that we're going to scratch before we head back to the New Testament. All right, so we want to get as much as we can. All right, so today we're going to be in the additions to Esther. That's what this is. All right, it's going to be its own standalone. I'm not gonna put it in the Esther playlist because it's this is from the Greek Septuagint and there's different text in it. So we're going to have that separate from it. Okay, so yeah. All right, you have a few moments if you want to get your scroll with you and follow along with me. This is the editions of Esther from the Greek Septuagint. I don't know if you have that. It's not in, I don't know if this was in my other Apocrypha, but I had to switch books, so I'm in a whole different book right now. But anyway, give a few moments if you do want to follow along with me. If not, you can find it online. I'm sure you can follow along and scroll on that blue screen. But if not, no further ado, let's get it. When we get started here, we're going to read the little precept that it has about it. Okay, so all right, let's get started with it. Let's begin.
Take them back.
Okay, all right. Family and friends, the edition of Esther translated from the Greek Septuagint, the little precept before it reads. The book of Esther in the Greek Septuagint contains 5 additions that the traditional Hebrew text doesn't have. These editions are recognized as deuterocanonical scriptures by the Roman Catholic, Greek Orthodox, and Russian Orthodox churches. Those editions are enclosed in square brackets because the editions by themselves make little sense without the broader context of the book. We present here a translation of the whole book of Esther from the Greek. We have chosen not to distract the reader with confusing, out-of-order chapter numbers that would result from using the KJV versification, but rather merge these 5 editions as extensions at the beginning of 1:1 and after 3:13, 4:17, and 8:12, and 10:13. This makes some verses 1 and 1, 5 and 1, and 8 and 12 really long, but it also makes the verses line up with the same verse numbers in Esther, as translated from the traditional Hebrew text. Some of the proper names in this book have been changed to the more familiar Hebrew form instead of the direct transliteration from the Greek. All right, that's what that says. All right, I don't know how good that's going to do anybody, but I want to include everything in this road trip. All right, so no further ado, we're going to start on chapter 1. They do have things in brackets here, but I'm just going to read everything, and I'm not going to say when the brackets are. I'm just going to read it how it comes. All right, I don't know how many of these we're going to get, but yeah, let's go ahead and read until it feels proper. All right, no further ado, let's get started on chapter 1. Let's begin. Chapter 1, and it reads, In the second year of the reign of Ahasuerus, the king, the great king, on the first day of Nisan, Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, of the tribe of Benjamin, a Jew dwelling in the city of Susa, a great man serving in the king's palace, saw a vision. Now he was one of the captives whom Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had carried captive from Jerusalem with Jeconiah, the king of Judea. This was his dream. Behold, voices and of noise, thunders and earthquake, tumult upon the earth. And behold, two great serpents came out, both ready for conflict. A great voice came from them. Each nation was prepared for battle by their voice, even to fight against the nation of the just. Behold, a day of darkness and blackness, suffering and anguish, affliction, affection, and tumult upon the earth. And all the righteous nations was troubled, fearing their own afflictions. They prepared to die, and cried to Yahweh. Something like a great river from the little spring with much water came from their cry. Light and the sun arose, and the lowly were exalted, and devoured the honorable. Mordecai, who had seen the vision and what Yahweh desired to do, having arisen, kept it in his heart, and desired by all means to interpret it, even until night. Mordecai rested quietly in the palace with Gabbatha, and Thara, the king's two chamberlains, eunuchs, who guarded the palace. He heard their conversation and searched out their plans, and he learned that they were preparing to lay hands on King Ahasuerus, and he informed the king concerning them. The king exclaimed. He examined the two chamberlains. They confessed and were led away and executed. The king wrote these things for a record. Mordecai also wrote concerning these matters. The king commanded Mordecai to serve in the palace and gave gifts for his service. But Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Bogian, was honored in the sight of the king, and he endeavored to harm Mordecai and his people because of the king's two chamberlains. And it came to pass after these things, in the days of Ahasuerus, Ahasuerus ruled over 127 provinces from India. In those days, when King Ahasuerus was on the throne in the city of Susa, in the third year of his reign, he made a feast for his friends, for people from the rest of the nations, for the nobles of the Persians and Medes, and for the chief of the local governors. After this, after he had shown them the wealth of his kingdom and the abundant glory of his wealth during 180 days, when the days of the wedding feast were completed, the king made a banquet lasting 6 days for the people of the nations who were present in the city, in the court of the king's house, which was adorned with fine linen and flax on cords of fine linen and purple, fastened to gold and silver studs on pillars of white marble and stone. There were golden and silver couches on a pavement of emerald stone, and of mother of pearl, and of white marble, with transparent coverings, variously flowered, having roses arranged around it. There were gold and silver cups, and a small cup of carbuncle set out, and the value of 30,000 talents, with abundant and sweet wine, which the king drank himself. This banquet was not according to the appointed law, but as the king desired to have it. He charged the stewards to perform his will and that of the company. Also, Vashti the queen made a banquet for the women in the palace where King Ahasuerus lived. Now on the 7th day, the king, being merry, told Haman, Bazan, Thora, Barazi, Zatholtha, Abattaza, and Tharaba, the 7 chamberlains, servants of King Ahasuerus, to bring in the queen to him, to enthrone her and crown her with the diadem, and to show her to the princes, and her beauty to the nations, for she was beautiful. But Queen Vashti refused to come with the chamberlains, so the king was grieved and angered. And he said to his friends, This is what Vashti said, therefore pronounce your legal judgment on this case. So Arcasius, Sarsathius, and Malasir, the princes of the Persians and Medes, who were near the king, who sat chief in rank by the king, drew near to him, and reported to him according to the laws what it was proper to do to Queen Vashti, because she had not done the things commanded by the king through the chamberlains. And Memucan said to the king and to the princes, Queen Vashti has not wronged the king only, but also all the king's rulers and princes, for he has told them the words of the queen, and how she disobeyed the king, as she then refused to obey King Ahasuerus. So this day the other wives of the chiefs of the Persians and Medes, having heard what she said to the king, will dare in the same way to dishonor their husbands. If then it seems good to the king, let him make a royal decree, and let it be written according to the law of the Medes and Persians, and let him not alter it. Don't allow the queen to come in to him any more. Let the king give her royalty to a woman better than she. Let the law of the king, which he will have made, be widely proclaimed in his kingdom. Then all the women will give honor to their husbands, from the poor even to the rich. This advice pleased the king and the princes, and the king did as Memucan had said, and sent into all his kingdom through the several provinces according to their language, so that men might be feared in their own houses. That's the end of chapter 1, all right? All right, let's continue to get some more of this, all right? Let's continue, all right. From the Greek Septuagint. All right, cool. Let's continue. Chapter 2, and it reads, After this, the king's anger was pacified, and he no more mentioned Vashti, bearing in mind what she had said, and how he had condemned her. Then the servants of the king said, Let chaste, beautiful young virgins be sought for the king. Let the king appoint local governors in all the provinces of his kingdom, and let them select beautiful, chaste young ladies, and bring them to the city of Susa, and to the women's apartment. Let them be consigned to the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women. Then let things for purification and other needs be given to them. Let the woman who pleases the king be queen instead of Vashti. This thing pleased the king, and he did so. Now there was a Jew in the city Susa, and his name was Mordecai, the son of Jairus, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, of the tribe of Benjamin. And he had been brought as a prisoner from Jerusalem, who Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had carried into captivity. He had a foster child, daughter of Aminadab, his father's brother. Her name was Esther. When her parents died, he brought her up to womanhood as his own. This lady was beautiful, and because the king's ordinance was published, many ladies were gathered to the city of Susa under the hand of Hegai, and Esther was brought to Hegai, the keeper of the women. The lady pleased him, and she found favor in his sight. He hurried to give her the things for purification, her portion, and the 7 maidens appointed her out of the palace. He treated her and her maidens well in the women's apartment, but Esther didn't reveal her family or her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her not to tell. But Mordecai used to walk every day by the women's court to see what would become of Esther. Now, this was the time for a virgin to go into the king when she had completed 12 months. For so are the days of purification fulfilled, 6 months while they are anointing themselves with oil and myrrh, and 6 months with spices and women's purifications. And then the lady goes in to the king. The officer that he commands to do so will bring her to come in with him from the woman's apartment to the king's chamber. She enters in the evening, and in the mornings she departs to the second woman's apartment, where Hegai, the king's chamberlain, is keeper of the women. She doesn't go in to the king again unless she is called by name. And when the time is fulfilled for Esther, the daughter of Aminadab, the brother of Mordecai's father, to go into the king, she neglected nothing which the chamberlain, the woman's keeper, commanded, for Esther found grace in the sight of all who looked at her. So Esther went to the king, Ahasuerus, in the 12th month, which is Adar, in the 7th year of his reign. The king loved Esther, and she found favor beyond all the other virgins. He put the queen's crown on her. The king made a banquet for all his friends and great men for 7 days, and he highly celebrated the marriage of Esther, and he granted a remission of taxes to those who were under his dominion. Meanwhile, Mordecai served in the courtyard. Now Esther had not revealed her country, for so Mordecai commanded her to fear the Most High Yahweh and perform his commandments as when she was with him. Esther didn't change her manner of life. 2 chamberlains of the king, the chiefs of the bodyguard, were grieved because Mordecai was promoted, and they sought to kill King Ahasuerus. And the matter was discovered by Mordecai, and he made it known to Esther, and she declared to the king the matter of the conspiracy. And the king exclaimed, and he examined the 2 chamberlains and hanged them. Then the king gave orders to make a note for a memorial in the royal library, Salake, of the goodwill shown by Mordecai as a commendation. That's the end of chapter 2. All right. I think we should go on and get some more to chapter 3. That'll be a good warm-up for this one, and then we'll, I don't know, we'll go on. How many chapters are even in this right here? Let me see. Let's take a look. There's only 10 chapters. All right. So let's get 3. Let's get 3 right now. All right, let's continue. Salake for the little hiccups, little mistakes. I apologize. Salake. All right. Chapter 3, and it reads, After this, King Ahasuerus. I was going to say Ahasuerus. All right. King Ahasuerus highly honored Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Bugian. He exalted him and set his seat above all his friends. All in the palace bowed down to him, for so the king had given orders to do so. But Mordecai didn't bow down to him. And they in the king's palace said to Mordecai, Mordecai, why do you transgress the commands of the king? They questioned him daily, but he didn't listen to them. So they reported to Haman that Mordecai resisted the commands of the king, and Mordecai had shown to them that he was a Jew. When Haman understood that Mordecai didn't bow down to him, he was greatly enraged and plotted to utterly destroy all the Jews who were under the rule of Ahasuerus. In the 12th year of the reign of Ahasuerus, Haman made a decision by casting lots by day and month to kill the race of Mordecai in one day. The lot fell on the 14th day of the month of Adar. So he spoke to King Ahasuerus, saying, There is a nation scattered among the nations in all your kingdom, and their laws differ from all the other nations. They disobey the king's laws. It is not expedient for the king to tolerate them. If it seem good to the king, let him make a decree to destroy them, and I will remit into the king's treasury 10,000 talents of silver. So the king took off his ring and gave it into the hands of Haman to seal the decrees against the Jews. And the king said to Haman, Keep the silver and treat the nations as you will. So the king's recorders, Salake, were called in the first month, on the 13th day, and they wrote as Haman commanded to the captains and governors in every province, from India even to Ethiopia, to 127 provinces, and to the rulers of the nations according to their languages, in the name of King Ahasuerus. The message was sent by couriers throughout the kingdom of Ahasuerus, to utterly destroy the race of the Jews on the first day of the 12th month, which is Adar, and to plunder their goods. The following is the copy of the letter. From the great King Ahasuerus to the rulers and the governors under them of 127 provinces, from India even to Ethiopia, who hold authority under him, ruling over many nations and having obtained dominion over the whole world, I was determined, not elated by the confidence of power, but ever conducting myself with great moderation and gentleness, to make the lives of my subjects continually tranquil, desiring both to maintain the kingdom quiet and orderly to its utmost limits, and to restore the peace desired by all men. When I had asked my counselors how this should be brought to pass, Haman, who excels in soundness of judgment among us, and had been manifestly well inclined without wavering and with unshaken fidelity, and had obtained the second post in the kingdom, informed us that the certain ill-disposed people is scattered among all the tribes throughout the world, opposed to their laws to every other nation, and continually neglecting the commands of the king, so that the united government blamelessly administered by us is not quietly established. Having then conceived that this nation is continually set in opposition to every man, introducing as a change a foreign code of laws, and injuriously plotting to accomplish the worst of evils against our interest and against the happy establishment of the monarchy, we instruct you in this letter written by Haman, who is set over the public affairs and is our second governor, to destroy them all utterly with their wives and children by the swords of the enemies, without pitying or sparing any, on the 14th day of the 12th month Adar of the present year, that the people aforetime and now ill-disposed to us, having been violently consigned to death, in one day may hereafter secure to us continually a well-constituted and quiet state of affairs. Copies of the letters were published in every province, and an order was given to all the nations to be ready for that day. This business was hastened also in Susa. The king and Haman began to drink, but the city was confused. That's the end of chapter 3. All right, hallelujah. Yeah, you know what? I think we might try to squeeze chapter 4 in here. Okay, let's try to get chapter 4. Chapter 4. All right. This is the additions to Esther, translated from the Greek Septuagint. All right, chapter 4, and it reads, But Mordecai, having perceived what was done, tore his garment, put on sackcloth, and sprinkled dust upon himself. Having rushed through the open street of the city, he cried with a loud voice, A nation that has done no wrong is going to be destroyed. He came to the king's gate and stood, for it was not lawful for him to enter into the palace wearing sackcloth and ashes. And in every province where the letters were published, there was a crying lamentation and great mourning on the part of the Jews. They wore sackcloth and ashes. The queen's maids and chamberlains went in and told her, and when she had heard what was done, she was deeply troubled. She sent clothes to Mordecai to replace his sackcloth, but he refused. So Esther called for her chamberlain Hathach, who waited upon her, and she sent to learn the truth from Mordecai. Mordecai showed him what was done, and the promise which Haman had made the king of 10,000 talents to be paid into the treasury, that he may destroy the Jews. And he gave him a copy of what was published in Susa concerning their destruction to show to Esther, and told him to charge her to go in and entreat the king and to beg him for the people. Remember, he said, the days of your humble condition, how you were nursed by my hand, because Haman, who holds the next place to the king, has spoken against us to cause our death. Come upon the Most High and speak to the king concerning us to deliver us from death. So Hathach went in and told her all these words. Esther said to Hathach, Go to Mordecai and say, All the nations of the empire know that any man or woman who goes in to the king into the inner court without being called, that person must die. Unless the king stretches out his golden scepter, then he shall live. I haven't been called to go into the king for 30 days. So Hathach reported to Mordecai all the words of Esther. Then Mordecai said to Hathach, Go and say to her, Esther, don't say to yourself that you alone will escape in the kingdom, more than all the other Jews. For if you keep quiet on this occasion, help and protection will come to the Jews from another place, but you and your father's house will perish. Who knows if you have been made queen for this occasion? And Esther sent the messenger who came to her to Mordecai, saying, Go and assemble the Jews that are in Susa, and all of you fast for me. Don't eat or drink for 3 days, night and day. My maidens and I will also fast. Then I will go in to the king contrary to the law, even if I must die. So Mordecai went and did all that Esther commanded him. He prayed to the Most High Yahweh, making mention of all the works of the Most High. He said, Most High Yahweh, you are king, ruler over all, for all things are in your power, and there is no one who can oppose you in your purpose to save Yasharel. For you have made the heaven and the earth and every wonderful thing under heaven. You are the most high of all, and there is no one who can resist you, Yahweh. You know all things. You know, Yahweh, that it is not in insolence or arrogance, nor love of glory that I have done this, to refuse to bow down to the arrogant Haman. For I would gladly have kissed the soles of his feet for the safety of Yasharel. But I have done this that I might not set the glory of man above the glory of Yahweh. I will not worship anyone except you, my Adonai, and I will not do these things in arrogance. And now, O Yahweh, Elohia, the King of the Most High, King, the Most High of Abraham, spare your people, and our enemies are planning our destruction, and they have desired to destroy your ancient inheritance. Do not overlook your people whom you have redeemed for yourself out of the land of Mizraim. Listen to my prayer, have mercy on your inheritance, and turn our mourning into gladness, that we may live and sing praise to your name. O Yahweh, don't utterly destroy the mouth of those who praise you. O Yahweh, all Yasharel cried with all their might, for death was before their eyes. And Queen Esther took refuge in the Most High, being taken, as it were, in the agony of death. Having taken off her glorious apparel, she put on garments of distress and mourning. Instead of grand perfumes, she filled her head with ashes and dung. She greatly humbled her body, and she filled every place of her glad adorning with her tangled hair. She implored the Most High Elohia of Yasharel and said, O my Adonai, you alone are our king. Help me. I am destitute and have no helper but you. For my daughter is near at hand. For my danger is near at hand. Salake. I have heard from my birth in the tribe of my kindred that you, Yahweh, took Yasharel out of all the nations, and our fathers out of all the kindred, for a perpetual inheritance, and have done for them all that you have said. And now we have sinned before you, and you have delivered us into the hands of our enemies, because we honored their gods. You are righteous, O Yahweh, but now they have not been content with the bitterness of our slavery, but have laid their hands on the hands of their idols, to abolish the decree of your mouth, and utterly to destroy your inheritance, and to stop the mouth of those who praise you, and to extinguish the glory of your house and your altar, and to open the mouth of the Gentiles to speak the praises of vanities, and that a mortal king should be admired forever. O Yahweh, don't surrender your scepter to those who don't exist, and don't let them laugh at our fall, but turn their counsel against themselves, and make an example of him who has begun to injure us. Remember us, O Yahweh. Manifest yourself in the time of our affliction. Encourage me, O King of gods, and ruler of all dominion. Put harmonious speech into my mouth before the lion, and turn his heart to hate him who fights against us, to the utter destruction of those who agree with him. But deliver us by your hand, and help me, who am alone and have no one but you, O Yahweh. You know all things, and know that I hate the glory of transgressors, and that I abhor the bed of the uncircumcised and of every stranger. You know my necessity, for I abhor the symbol of my proud nation, my proud station, which is upon my head in the days of my splendor. I abhor it as a minstrel's cloth, and I don't wear it in the days of my tranquility. Your handmaid has not eaten. Have I drunk wine of libations? Neither has your handmaid rejoiced since the day of my promotion until now, except in you, O Yahweh, Most High of Abraham, O God, who has power over all. Listen to the voice of the desperate, and deliver us from the hand of those who devise mischief. Deliver me from my fear. Deliver me from my fear. And that's the end of chapter 4. Salake, y'all. All right. Thanks for being with me. We're going to close that up right there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. All right, cool. So on the next one, we'll be picking up on chapter 5, 6. Man, we'll probably just do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We'll probably just finish it. You know? Why not? We'll just do this in a two-parter. All right. But this has been the Editions of Esther, the Additions to Esther, translated from the Greek Septuagint, chapter 1 through 4. Thanks for riding along with me. In the meantime, in between time, shalom, shalom, peace and blessings to you, your home, your dwelling places, all that good stuff that you need in your life, Mishpachah and friends. I look forward to seeing you all again. In the meantime, be safe out there. All praises to the Most High. I'll see y'all soon. I love you. Yeah.